So I had the most stupid. Can you? Is it camera gonna? No, it's not. Okay. I had the most stupid evening ever. I was in Damascus, right? And it was like 5 o'clock or something. So I had another 2 hours, in my opinion. I had another 2 hours. And I wanted to get over these mountains. The highest mountains on this map. And that's not that high, you know, it's just two short steep climbs. Or at least that's what it looked like on the map. The first climb took me way longer because it was not steep. It was this. Oh, it was not steep. How do you say that? I mean, the angle was just really low. And that just pisses me off, because if the map shows that it's gonna be steep, I prepare for it to be steep. So this took me like 90 minutes. So I was like, okay, I'll just do the other one in about an hour. But then out of nowhere, this stupid East Coast weather decided to give me half an hour of rain. Now normally I'm like, okay, a little bit of rain is not gonna kill anyone, but this was bad. This was bad. This was a lot of water that was coming down. I mean, everything here is moist and wet and stuff. But so that cost me another half an hour. So then I was like, okay, I'm not gonna get to the town I wanted to get to. And I'm just gonna start to, well, see if there's anyone around that will not kill me if I put down a tent in their yard. And for the first 2 miles there was nobody home. And I'm talking a lot of houses. I'm like talking like 30 houses or something, and no one was home. You know, you can see that by their car, and the lights off and the car's not there. If the car's not there, Americans are not home. Because, well, that's pretty much their only way of transportation here. So then I got to a house. I knocked on his door. I could see him sitting, you know. I could see that the TV was on and the light was on, so I knew he was home. So I knocked the first time, and I just stepped back a bit so they could see me if they wanted to look at me out of the window. And he didn't open. So I knocked again. He started mumbling, and he came to the door. He opened the door, and he literally said, "What are you doing?" Like with this really thick Virginia accent. And I was like, I was all amazed, because it's a stupid question. So I said, "Oh, I'm knocking on your door." And that took him off guard, because I don't know, he's either really stupid or he didn't expect me to answer that, or I don't know. Anyway, he asked me what I wanted, and I said, well, and he was not a nice guy, so I said, like, well, I was wondering if I could pitch down a tent in your yard. And he looked like I was crazy, and he said no. And I was like, okay. And I walked away. And while I was walking away, I wondered if he was a Christian. I should have asked him that. And if he said yes, I would have replied, well, shame on you. And I walked away. That would have been cool. You know, it's always when you get into these conversations and you lack the words in the beginning, and afterwards you think of all the things you could have said to make your point, you know. So then there was another couple of houses with no one, and then I got to this really nice house, really nice lady, and I asked her if I could pitch down a tent, and she said, well, you could, but there's a campground just a mile down the road, showers and everything. So I was like, so I checked it on my map, and the map, indeed, there was a campground. You know, I was completely lost. So there was a campground, USFS, which is the United States Forestry Service, and usually they don't charge a lot, like $6 or $8 or something. But when I finally got there, the women said $20. I was like, Yeah, my tent's like 7 by 7 feet. You're not gonna charge me $20 for that. I mean, I didn't have it, but even if I would have, I wouldn't done it. I wouldn't have done it. But you know, so I said, I have $11. How's that? And she couldn't do that because she has just been working there for less than a year and blah blah blah. So she called Ed, and Ed's the manager. So Ed came down, walking from his bungalow, blah 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 blah, fat ass, and he said, I can't do that. You know, usually, there's been people giving me slack all the way, and a couple of times at USFS campgrounds or other, yeah, like United States Forestry Services. So I asked him, well, what do I get for the $20? What do I get for the $20? And he said, well, you get a spot, and you get water, and you get a shower, and you get toilets. And I asked him, if I go down to the other side of the road, just on the other side of the road, what would the difference be? And then I said, like, directly afterwards, I didn't wait for a reply. I said, the only difference is going to be a shower. You're going to charge me $20 for a shower. He agreed with me, but he said, well, if you're going to do that, don't go to the other side of the road. Go like a bit down the trailhead. Down the road, there's a trailhead where all the hikers stay, where all the hikers start their hike, and you can maybe put up a tent there. So, and he was completely agreeing with me that I was right, and he still couldn't. He still wouldn't do it. And then I said, well, if you don't note anything down, if you don't write anything down, but he didn't want to do that. But I guess I was bribing, so I kind of get that. So it took me another half an hour to get my ass to this slightly, well, I guess the trees are pretty high and pretty nice. But the trees are still wet, so every time the wind blows it's gonna rain on my head. So my second experience with people in Virginia was not so good. I'm gonna give it a retry tomorrow. I'm just gonna. This is like my first time wild camping since a long time though. Like wild camping, that last time was in Kansas. Like with Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky. Whoa, that's a long time. Neat. Gotta take my shit in the bushes again. Yay. Oh, crap. Alright, well that's enough jabbering for now. I'm gonna get my rest of my stuff ready and get to bed. All sweaty and salty and crap. Yay. Good night.